We'll go down to Jurassic Park. The Tide welcomed in Mississippi State, trying to come off that tough loss last week to a red-hot Tennessee team. Alabama, no problem, no drama. Bryce Young was back to his Heisman look. And the Tide, really, it was buttoned up. You could tell what type of week of practice they had just by watching them finish plays, special teams, penalties way down. You could really tell what type of week it was. Fellas, when you look at that, and again, I thought this game could be interesting because I went back and I watched that Tennessee tape, and Tennessee and Josh Heupel took their skill players all the way to the edge of the field, putting a tremendous strain on the safeties. Sometimes they devote safety, sometimes they wouldn't, leaving these corners on islands, and they just attack them. Well, Mississippi State does a lot of that too with Mike Leach. The problem was today they couldn't protect like Tennessee was able to protect. And then their quarterback, what's our guy's name? Mississippi State?
Rogers.
Will Rogers. Yeah, he just could not stand in there, put his foot in the ground, and then take a shot while delivering a shot, like Hendon Hooker. So the Tide go 30-6 over Mississippi State. Trevor, we'll go with you first. Alabama, are we back now assured that they won't have any type of drama until they get to the SEC title game, if they can get to the SEC title game? How will they be in the rest of their regular season schedule, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that Bryce Young is, like we've talked about all year, the glue that holds that team together. I mean, I think they had 28 yards of rushing. Jahmyr Gibbs had 37, and he was the lead rusher, which that concerns me, that they're not having a little bit more balance on the offensive side of the ball. Now, you've got the Giant Slayer, you've got we talk about him a ton, right? You put Bryce Young out there, he's going to do what he's going to do, and you can expect that week in and week out. But if you don't have balance on the offensive side and some things go, kind of on the other side of that line, it could get interesting. And we've seen that happen multiple times this year. Texas A&M, and then obviously the loss at Tennessee, which was a shootout. But Texas and Texas A&M, they should blow those teams out. Those are not good football teams. Texas A&M's under 500 now. Texas loses again today. Those should have been blowouts. So I like what I saw today out of Alabama. I thought their defense was much improved. You talked about the lower number of penalties. They played cleaner football. But in order to really skate through the rest of this schedule, I think they have to be more balanced on the offensive side. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy that can do that. We just haven't seen it be consistent week in and week out quite yet.
Alabama hacked today only 3 penalties. They dropped it down from 17 last week. Threw for 261. Only ran for 29. Obviously, you could tell where Mississippi State decided to dedicate their efforts defensively. What was your impression, Hack, when you're watching this ball club? And what are we continuing to see out of the reigning Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched on this, and I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but I think that this Alabama team obviously isn't built the way that previous ones are, and I think that for the first time, you can truly say that the responsibility and hopes and dreams of this season lies solely on Bryce Young's shoulders.
Yeah.
Trevor, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a great Batman, or Robin to the Batman, and maybe not even a Robin, just kind of like one of those one episode guy that pops in and helps out every once in a while. I really think that that's kind of how O'Brien, it shows the way he calls the football game. I think that's the way that he sees it. I think that's the way Saban sees it. So they're going to try to put Bryce in the most advantageous situations possible. And obviously a run game helps with that. Didn't necessarily need it today. It is what it is. I think we're going to keep it moving. For me, I think big picture, this Alabama team, George, I mean, it's kind of tough to say that they're just going to cruise. I mean, the SEC, every week's different. Someone could be up, someone could be down. They still have Ole Miss, right? Or did they already?
Still have Ole Miss, and they have LSU.
Yeah. And so So you're talking one team that's really hot, one team that's been doing it funky, like you said, in the Ole Miss guys. They got today, but it is what it is. Kiffin's going to come out, and he's got a history with Saban, obviously. So, we'll see. But everything that I expected happened today in terms of Alabama bouncing back from a tough one, and offensively, I think they are what they are, and they've showed that throughout the year. They're gonna come every day, and they're gonna say, "Here's number 9, and you got to go beat him."
A quick note for those of you guys that watched the game and you got a chance to hear a lot of the commentary. Bryce Young basically has done little to no throwing during the week of practice. They are rehabbing him. He's on the field. He is running through plays, but he doesn't make the throws. The number 2 will make the throws, or if he does, there are only a handful of them. They're just keeping him on a pitch count so they could get him to Saturday where he's delivering. They did that for Tennessee last week. They did it this week with Mississippi State. I just think it's so smart and real conscious of the coaching staff and the leadership, because not all programs take that approach. They just don't. The smart ones obviously do. So Alabama 30-6, the Roman army, to be interesting to see what happens to them. As long as they can hang in that 6-7 range, but they're going to have to continue to take care of business in the West if they want to get a shot at getting into their own dance.